What is up guys, Gabe here and welcome back to another video. On this video we're gonna go ahead and do another edit tutorial. Now it's not gonna be about editing like someone else or trying to emulate someone else's style. It is however gonna be on how to try to recreate or emulate things that I have been seeing right here in these old magazines. Now as I was looking through magazines and stuff like that, I started noticing some things or some commonalities between editorials and advertising and stuff like that that I kind of wanted to recreate or kind of emulate somehow as close to possible as I could on a preset. Now keep in mind this preset is not going to be the same as what you're going to see in a magazine because it's not going to have all that high-end retouching. It's just going to be basic color toning and stuff like that. I have already selected an image that I want to edit with you guys. I have already gone through the whole editing process by myself because it took me some time to tweak everything to make it look the way that I wanted to. But I think it's ready for you guys to see it and for us to go through everything that I did within that edit so that we can kind of understand why and how you need to tweak your images in order for you to get this precise look. Now this look is very common. It's a very goldenish tone. It's kind of like golden tones in the highlights and in the shadows a little bit, as well as skin tones. Everything looks kind of goldenish, which is something that I was noticing a lot when I was looking at these magazines and the editorials and all this stuff. It kind of looked a little bit like that. They had that flavor of golden tones that I was enjoying looking at. So I was like, hey, maybe I should give it a try to edit and try to come up with a preset so I can give to you guys. So enough about me talking about all this. Let's jump right into Lightroom and see what we did there. So we are here in Lightroom, and as you can see, this is the picture that I have chosen for us to go through together. And as you can see here we have the golden tones that I was talking about and all that consistency. If you take a look at the before and after, the photo started out looking like this, and when I was done editing and applying the preset and doing all the tweaks, it ended up at something like this. And as you can see, there is a slight golden tone to every aspect of the image. However, we do retain the whites, white, which I like. I don't like color casts too much on pictures because I feel that they take away from the natural colors of the image. So what we did here is that we kind of manipulated the colors in a way that the whites are still white, the white balance is pretty neutral, but we still have some golden tone skin and some golden tones in the background as well. So how we did this, if we take a look here on the right side of Lightroom, we're gonna go down this list and take a look at everything that we did here, everything that we tweaked. So first things first is the white balance. We threw it down to 5650. I added a little bit of pink hue to the tint because as you're gonna see a little bit later on, I did add some green cast to the shadows, but we'll get to that in a second. As far as exposure, I didn't touch it that much. Contrast, I added just a little bit just to give it that punch and to counteract this curve that I got going on right here. As for the highlights, I brought them down a bunch, -69. Shadows, I boosted them a bit because I was shooting in a kind of like a darkish environment, and I wanted to, keep the texture and keep all the detail from the shadowy points of the image. That's why I boosted them up like that. The whites, I brought them down just to give her face right here just a little bit of definition. The blacks, I also boosted them up a bit just for the sake of keeping detail in the shadowy areas of the image, which is something that I like personally in my style of editing images. The tone curve, it used to be a regular, straight line curve. What I did was I boosted the shadows up here so that now they're not in the dark, they're in the grayish area. And also here in the highlights a little bit, I brought them down just to keep the whites not to be blown out and not everything to be like you see here, pure white. It's just a little bit off, which is also something that's personal to my style of editing and the way I like to edit, so that's why I did that way. Okay, here for the skin tones, let's look at the red channel. The red channel has been manipulated just a little bit, just bringing down, the luminance, just to keep that richness in that tone, and bringing down the saturation so that it's not overpowering. For the oranges, which we're dealing mostly with her skin here, boosted them up a little bit into the yellowy side just to give it that golden tone that I'm talking about. Brought down the saturation as well as the luminance just to keep her skin just looking the way it does right now. And if you apply this preset to any other picture and your subject has different skin than her, you may have to manipulate this in order to get it to the point where you want your picture to be. Just something that you got to think about always when you're editing skin and editing portraits and people. It's just that you have to play around with this all the time just to get the skin tones to where they look natural to you and where they look good to your eye. Going down the list, I took down the yellows here because I tend to do that a lot in my images just to keep, you know, all the extra colors. I feel sometimes that yellows kind of get in the way of other colors. They get mushy. So what I do is that I bring down the saturation of the yellows quite a bit, and I feel that it helps me clean out my image a lot. So that's what I did here with that. Didn't do too much touching up or anything like that. There's not really any greens or blues or purples or anything like that, so I left that alone. Here for the shadows, they're also there as well, just to give you that little punch here in the shadowy bits of the image, just to keep everything, you know, balanced just the way that I have it. And like I said, you know, it's at a very low place right now. It's at about an 11%, which is barely noticeable. Here in the sharpening, I added just a little bit just because I was using a 24-70 lens and it's not the known to be the sharpest lens, so I added just a little bit of that, little bit of noise reduction just to keep the skin looking a little bit more silky. No profile corrections on this image. See, going down through here, I did add grain because it's something I've noticed on a lot of magazines and at a lot of editorials that I've been looking at, is that they tend to have some grain, but it's controlled grain. So I added quite a bit of grain at 60, but I also controlled it by bringing down the size of the grain to a 20, which actually balances everything out. It makes the image when you zoomed out to look very, very natural. But if you zoom in and you punch in a little bit closer, you do get that grain and you do get that texture in the image, which helps you smooth out the skin, smooth out any other imperfections that you may find, which makes retouching after, or you know, or any retouching that you've done smooth, which is something that you want in the high-end look like what we're going for. And I would say that is everything. It's not a very complicated edit. It's not something that takes the image from, you know, A to Z, but it just gives you that tone, that look that you're going for. You know, if you go like the before and there's the after, you do get that flavor of golden tones. And I'm pretty satisfied with this edit, and I hope you guys enjoy this preset too. I'm gonna leave it down in the description for you guys to download it and use it and apply it whichever way you can, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, so before we wrap up this video, I noticed that I've never actually shown you guys how to import the presets into your computer. So what you're gonna do is this: once you're on Lightroom and you have downloaded the preset and you have it on your desktop or whatever folder you choose to have your presets on, what you're going to do is that when you're in the develop module, you're going to go up and all the presets, see here this plus sign, create import preset. Go ahead and look for where that one is. Mine is at the desktop. It says Gape Media Golden XMP. Click on import and then you should go down to your user presets, and there it is. And that is it, guys. That is the golden tone / magazine preset. Thank you guys for checking out this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys on the next video.